Hi everyone, Danny here. Today I want to talk to you about the book An Accidental Death, written by Peter Grainger, read by Gildart Jackson. This is a book that I got as part of a first in series sale on Audible. Audible will occasionally, actually quite regularly, do sales, and they tend to put a theme behind the sales. The theme of this one was first in series, which was really nice because you can get a book for almost nothing. Know that if you like the book and you like the author, there are books behind it. You can, if you don't like it, if you don't feel like it's worth the couple of dollars that you spent, you can return it to Audible for a full refund. So there's no loss here. Based on the publisher's review of this book, I expected it to be a British version of a Michael Connelly, Harry Bosch style book. Something along the lines of a cantankerous old detective who's been around forever, who's pushed everyone's buttons. Everyone hates the guy. He's got a few loyal friends because, let's face it, people that will not back off, people that are willing to go out and push the buttons everyone else backs away from. When they get friends, those friends are highly loyal, but everybody else hates the guy. He's given an accidental death to investigate. There's some political hijinks behind it. He's told to sweep it under the carpet, and he doesn't. He continues to investigate and either discovers that it was the local mayor who killed the kid, or it's part of a serial string of murders by a serial killer, something along those lines of. That's not this book, and not at all. Some parts, the book is about Mr. D.C. Smith. He is a British police detective. He has been away from the force for a while. That's skirted around, never talked about directly, so you don't know why he's been away from the force. When he comes back, as part of his welcome back, he is given an accidental death to investigate. They don't want him finding anything. They want this to be an accidental death. He refuses to play along, continues to investigate. It's not the mayor that killed the kid. It's not part of a serial murderer's killing spree. I'm not going to tell you what it turns out to be because, in my memory, this is the only detective book that I have ever read or listened to where the main detective spends the entire book investigating this sort of a crime. And the fact that the author did not have to resort to, the mayor did it or it's a serial killer to make this a fascinating, can't put down style of book, it is really a credit to the author. This is not a type of crime that most people would try to turn into a book. And that's all I'm going to say. You want to know more? Get the book. I recommend getting the audiobook. This is one where the narrator, Mr. Gildart Jackson, does such a wonderful job. Mr. D.C. Smith is nothing like Harry Bosch. Mr. D.C. Smith is the kind of guy that you would love to have for an uncle or a father. He is mellow. He's extremely polite with everybody. Extremely understated. It seems like it's impossible to get under his skin, but at the same time, he is a master of the understated wit. He is constantly putting people in their place, using very polite, very humorous wit. It's not the type of book with a lot of belly laughs. There are twice in the book where I busted out, with a belly laugh. The rest of the time, it's the type of humor that you smile and you chuckle at. But he's unfailingly polite to absolutely everybody, criminal, superiors. Everybody's his friend. Everybody likes him. The criminals like and respect him because they know that he is going to treat them with respect, which he does. Everyone that he works with, he has one protagonist at work, and then he's got a few people above him who do want to get rid of him, but they can't because he knows where the bodies lie. The author does a really, really good job. One of the things I've noticed in other books that I've read that authors struggle with when they have a main character who is so unfailingly polite, who is so unfailingly understated, and no matter how witty they make the character, they have a hard time having him not come across as kind of wimpy. That's not the case with D.C. Smith. D.C. Smith and Harry Bosch have that in common. They're two completely different styles of detectives, two completely different styles of dealing with people, but both of them, if you've read any of the Harry Bosch series, you know he's not someone that you want mad at you. He's not someone you want after you. D.C. Smith, despite how polite he is, despite how everyone likes and respects him, he definitely comes across as someone that you do not want mad at you. You don't want this guy coming after you. He's gonna be smarter than you are. He's just, he doesn't use violence much at all. It doesn't really fit his character. There are times in the book where you think, oh, he's gonna, pull out the badge. He's gonna whatever, and he doesn't. He gets around it in his own kind of a way. Towards the end of the book, when he does actually resort to violence, it is because he has been pushed to a point where that is the only option left, and then he still does it politely. He still does it in a very dry, humorous kind of a way. And he only applies the amount of violence needed to control the situation while leaving the protagonist knowing that if you don't stop now, it's going to get a lot worse for you. So you need to just stop. The reader, Mr. Gildart Jackson, does such a wonderful job with this book. He has a way of slowing his voice down, deepening his voice. If this was an American novel, I would say that he puts on a slow Southern drawl, but it's a British novel, so he puts on a slow British drawl. And it fit when he's talking about Mr. Smith, when he's talking as Mr. Smith, and it fits D.C. Smith's character so extremely well when he does that. That is really why I say get this book in audio format. Don't get this book in written format. This is the style of book that I think would be enjoyable in either. Get the book. It's not going to let you down if you do written, but to me, Mr. Jackson just does such a wonderful job of bringing D.C. Smith to life. Like I said, you can almost picture this uncle or father or, fatherly kind of a figure that you don't want to disappoint. You don't want to let this guy down, but you also know this guy, he's going to care for you. When you screw up, he's not going to beat you up about it. It's just, it's a wonderful character that has been created here in Mr. Smith. I love the fact that the author doesn't have to go into a lot of really gory details about different crimes and murders and torture and all this other kinds of stuff to keep your interest on the book. There's really nothing about this book that disappointed me. There's nothing about this book that let me down. I have nothing but good to say. Get the book. My recommendation would be get it in Audible format. If you like my videos, please let me know. If there's something I can do on my videos to make them better, please let me know. If you have a book that you would like me to listen to and do a review on to see what I think about it, let me know. I welcome any and all feedback. All I care about is that you keep on reading, whether it's in audio format or print. I love books.